Chapter 7 Go to Pyongyang. I went confidently to the main street to wait for the bus. Having heard the voice of God telling me to go to Pyongyang, I knew He was directing me. I would listen to Him and follow His leading. Wasn't He, the creator of the universe, my Father? I had no need to worry when I could hold the hands of Jesus and remember His words of promise until the moment I entered heaven. Within my heart, I could hear the Hallelujah chorus played by a powerful and radiant orchestra. My tears shrouded the entire world in mist, making it more like a dream than reality. When the bus for Shiniju came, I got on it in obedience to the Lord's command. I was somewhat fearful because I was known in Shiniju, but no one on the bus seemed to recognize me. As soon as we reached the city, I hurried into the station, changed clothes, and washed my face and combed my hair. Countrywomen seldom ventured so far from their villages, and I wasn't eager to attract attention. I waited for the nightly passenger freight train, making myself as inconspicuous as possible in a corner of the plaza. It was noon the next day when the slow-moving train reached Pyongyang. A crowd in the distance was shouting, "Banzai! Banzai!" to the discordant clamor of the drums. Cautiously, I walked toward them. An express train loaded with young Japanese soldiers had just arrived from Japan and was going on to the battlefield. Everyone was at the station, the leading officials, policemen, students, and ordinary citizens. Japanese flags were waving while the people shouted, "Banzai!" and the students in uniform were singing a patriotic number, accompanied by the band. I was not listening to the din around me. My gaze was fixed on the solemn, expressionless faces of the young servicemen. They looked like so many corpses headed for unmarked graves on the battlefields of China, living sacrifices to the gods of imperialism and military might. Numbly, I walked alongside the train, fighting for each breath. The soldiers all had that strange look of death, as though they were being sent to hell for the sake of the state. Didn't the Bible say that the wages of idolatry were wars, famines, and pestilences? Because of it, youth would die in wars, young wives would become widows, parents would lose their sons, children would become orphans, and peace would vanish. Idolatry would cause all the world to be visited with calamities. Leaders of the state were responsible, for they were committing sins and sowing the seeds of curse. Someone had to take the gospel to those young men who were condemned to an early death. Someone had to seek out each one and tell him the good news from God that Jesus Christ had come to save him. Someone must save these tens of thousands of fine young men from the road to hell. I stomped the ground and cried in my frustration and anger. If only someone in a high position would stand up to the Japanese leaders and make them see that the youth from all over the country were turning into fiends in hell, day after day. There was no time to waste. It had to be done quickly. That burden tormented me like a fire that would not be quenched. Then, suddenly, I heard a voice speaking to my heart. "You are one. You must do it." I straightened in surprise. That couldn't be. I was only a woman without strength or wisdom. I was a weakling, a child of sin. Yet my burning heart became as peaceful as a glassy sea. Listen to the Lord, I told myself. I still couldn't quite believe it, and I felt an urge to cry, but a hymn resounded in my innermost being. Glory to Thee. The words kindled a new excitement in me as I went out of the railway station.